Alrighty, so let's get into it. So for lab 6 of the course, we have exercise 1. Question asks, what are two different ways to break out of loop? So the two different ways are the break and continue. Options 1, the break terminates the loop and goes to the closing statement, while continue terminates the current loop and executes to jump to the top of the loop and see if and reevaluate the controlling expression. Moving on to 2, the question asks, create a list of your top 3 favorite meals. Create a list that prints out each of your favorite meals in order. So we have to set the variable favorite meals and create our list. Pizza, bagels, and tacos. Then it's a for loop. So we have for, then we have our variable, which is meal, and then we have our range, which is all of fave meals. And then we print. We have the string my favorite food is, which is what reprints every time. And then we have meal, which is what iterates. Moving on to 3, the question asks, for A, it says create a loop that prints 5 random numbers, each separated by a new line. So for that, we have to import random, which will allow us to generate random numbers. Then for I, which is our variable, in the range of 5, because we want to print out 5 numbers. Then we call print, and then random integer, 1 through the number, and then it prints out these 5 right here, and it will be random every time. Moving on to B, it's the same but with a while loop. So again, we import random, we set I to 0, and then the while loop is I. As long as I is less than 5, then it will continue. So it's the same, print random integer, 1 through our range, and then we call I to add 1 every time, so call 5 times. Moving on to 4, the question asks, it references labs 2. It wants us to do the same thing, but do it in a loop, and ask the user for 5 times for 2 numbers to add and print out their sum. So it's a for loop, and we have the range being 5 times because we want to add 2 numbers 5 times. We have the input, which is we have our first print statement, which kind of just outlines it. And then we have our 2 integers. So x is the first number, y is the second number that calls for input, and then we have sum equals x plus y, which will add our 2 integers. And as you can see, as it's been ran, first number was 44, the second number is 44, and then the sum is 88, and that runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Moving on to number 5, create a list of 3 numbers in one loop. Print out each number squared, cubed, and raised to the 4th power. So for this, we set our list of numbers, use the same one as the example, 3, 2, and 4. And then we set our for loop. It's all in one loop. So we have to square our variable, which is represented by the exponential function right here. It's 2 because we're squaring it. Then cubed, it's the same thing, but it's a 3 at the end because we're cubing it. And then 4th is the same thing as well, exponential function with a 4 at the end. Then we have our print functions. Number squared is, all of these 3 are strings, and then it prints out each number 3 times before moving on to the next, each with the 3 different cube, square, and raised to the 4th.